We measure our lives in decades and our history in centuries. This psychological trick makes us feel like the central figures of Earth's story. But deep beneath the concrete we walk on sits a geological record so incredibly old that all of human memory is basically a rounding error. If we compress the Earth's true 4.5 billion year history into one single 24-hour day, we can actually see the speed of evolution. The clock starts right now, at midnight. At exactly 40 minutes past midnight, a Mars-sized planet named Theia collides with the early Earth. Theia completely disintegrates on impact, and its molten debris clumps together in orbit to form the Moon. This early planetary trauma provided a necessary reset. The gravitational pull of the newly formed Moon slowed Earth's rotation from a frantic 6-hour spin to a more stable rhythm, creating the physical conditions needed for the next phase. As the planet's surface cooled, it endured a continuous bombardment from asteroids and comets. These rocks delivered massive amounts of water, slowly accumulating over millions of years to form the first oceans. The chemical soup within those hot volcanic waters randomly rearranged itself until 4:30 in the morning. That is the exact moment the first fully formed living cell emerges. We call this early life form a prokaryote. It operates like a tiny, single-room studio apartment, with no separate internal structures, severely limiting its ability to generate or store complex energy. This chart tracks biological complexity against our 24-hour clock. Notice the completely flat, stagnant line stretching from 4:30 all the way past 11 a.m. Life remains stuck in this simple, single-cell state for more than half the day, making almost no progress. But those billions of years of boring stagnation provided the raw chemical sandbox required to test endless molecular combinations. Nature needed that massive stretch of time to prepare for a sudden biological upgrade. At 11:35 in the morning, cyanobacteria learned to photosynthesize, accidentally flooding the atmosphere with oxygen. For almost all existing life, this free gas was a deadly poison. To survive this toxic crisis, life forced a biological merger. One cell engulfs another, but instead of digesting it, the host adapts to use it. This schematic compares the empty interior of a prokaryote to the densely packed architecture of a new, complex cell called a eukaryote. That engulfed shape became a mitochondrion, a specialized internal power station that could process toxic oxygen into massive amounts of energy. By adapting to a mass poisoning, life built a biological combustion engine. This multi-chambered cellular blueprint gave organisms the power they needed to accelerate future evolution. We jump ahead to 9 p.m. After surviving a global freeze known as Snowball Earth, life puts those new cellular engines to work. Complex cells cluster together, exploding into a diverse array of multicellular organisms. At 2112, the Cambrian explosion hits. Soft-bodied marine creatures rapidly grow hard exoskeletons, sharp spines, and thick armored plates as nature tests different physical forms. The speed of adaptation compounds. By 2134, simple moss-like plants conquer the land and begin producing oxygen above ground. Early insects immediately follow them out of the water to feed and hunt. At 2205, lobe-finned fish push their way onto the muddy shores, becoming the first amphibians. Massive evolutionary leaps that used to take hours on our clock are now happening in minutes. By 2248, the dinosaurs achieve absolute dominance. Their legs are positioned directly beneath their bodies, giving them an upright stance and a level of agility that outmatches the sprawling reptiles before them. Evolution no longer needed to invent the basic cell. All biological energy was now devoted to rapidly mutating and combining complex body parts, allowing animals to conquer every environment on the globe. At 2339, an asteroid larger than Mount Everest slams into Earth at 12 miles per second. The impact throws a colossal cloud of dust into the atmosphere, triggering a rapid global freeze that starves the dinosaurs. With the giant predators gone, the surviving small, nocturnal mammals creep out of the shadows. Their warm blood and insulating fur allow them to quickly adapt to the colder climate and take over the newly freed ecological niches. By 2358, the climate shifts again. Dense African forests dry out and transform into open savannas. Early primates are forced down from the vanishing trees and begin walking on two legs to survive on the ground. Bipedalism freed their hands for tools, fueling brain development. Human intelligence is the direct byproduct of a random rock from space clearing the board at exactly the right time. This brings us to the final minute. Homo sapiens appear at the 54th second. At the 59th second, we survive the last ice age. Humans domesticate animals, and populations surge. Our history is so short. The pyramids are built at the 95th millisecond. Look at this early steam engine. Built just milliseconds after the pyramids, it marks humanity's explosive mastery of mechanical force, immediately leading to the industrial and digital ages. We spend our lives thinking we are the main characters of Earth's story, but we are a hyper-fast, explosive chain reaction that has occupied a single millisecond of a 4.5 billion-year clock.